of our. All right, so I just want to go through a couple of things as it relates to communicating value. So, you know, I think that I'm going to offer five tips specific to communicating value that I think can relate across the board, whether it's in an area where you're interviewing for a job or if it's in your own business. I think it will relate to both. But I want to begin by starting with the fact that the majority of the issues that we have related to discussions about money are deep rooted. They come from beliefs that are based on things that were taught to us as we were growing up. They are odd yet common. So, you know, people have a lot of fear wrapped around money. In particular, I find in this industry, this is the odd part, right? So we have issues around money related to the fact that you're really good at what you do, so it comes easy to you, or you really love what you do. And it sounds weird, like, why would we have issues with money as it relates to those two things? Well, the first one is I find that if something comes easily to someone, you know, this is something that I could do in my sleep, you know, I can organize your closet in 2 seconds. That, you know, like just anything I do is just so easy to me. So I don't see it as the value. A lot of people, I have to remind them, oh my God, I don't know how to do that. So that is a huge value. And you're not recognizing the gift that you have. Right? So that's the first one. And the second one has to do with the fact that when you love something, when you're like, I love what I do. And that's sometimes a downfall for me. Because I love what I do, I want to give it. I want to share it with people. And if somebody asks me to lower my price, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, but no, because that's devaluing it, right? So these are two like really odd but common things, in particular in an industry that we both love, that we all love. The other one, going back to the beliefs that we have about money in general, you know, sometimes that it's distasteful to talk about money. Some people believe that it doesn't grow on trees, that it takes a lot of hard work to make it, that it's somehow bad or negative. And so if there are any of those issues for you, let me know offline. It takes a little bit more time to dive into that, but I can send you some video clips, or I can share with you some tips that I have as it relates to that. We're not going to take the time for that right now, but I just want to share with you that you're not alone and that we get to choose our beliefs and you can change them. So if you have a belief that's not serving you as it relates to money, it's okay. We can work on that. So the 5 tips that I have for you on communicating your value. The first one is to know what it is, right? To acknowledge what is it that you do that is different from other people? What value do you have? What do you bring to the table? Very clearly defining it, knowing it, embracing it intimately. And I say that and people are like, oh, I know what I offer. Most people really cannot clearly communicate exactly what it is that they do that's very different from other people. So take the time to really dive into knowing your value. Yes, Patty. You got to unmute, my dear.
Let's clarify other people. I know exactly how I'm better than any competitor.
Mm-hmm.
I can, you mean, when you say other, you know, we make a statement and we say what makes us better than other people. Are we talking about people inside of our industry? Are we talking about our peers and our colleagues? Or are we talking about our clients that we're serving?
When I say differentiate, it may certainly mean better. It means how are you uniquely qualified to solve their problem? And we're going to get to that next. This is about you and your value. What differentiates you? What do you do better or different or uniquely or special that you need to communicate, right? So some people say, well, I'm really good at planning. That's not clear enough. So it has to be very clear about exactly what you do and how it's different, right? And so Xing, I know that so this is different for you, but it still applies, right? Your value is going to be different than, a lot of people here, we might be talking about planners, right? Your value is going to be different. It's going to be, what value do you have and how can you communicate it for planners? It's so if you have something here that is not specific to what I'm talking about, the 5 tips still apply. Okay. So going on, know your value, know that know specifically the clients who need the value that you offer. That's not everybody. Right. And so this is where we really start to hone in. This is where, do you want to, Alicia and Emily, I'm going to take you as an example, right? Because you very clearly have niched down to a specific part of the industry, a specific division, or pharma is very different than just everybody, right?
Right.
So everyone needs to know the client specifically who needs the value that is your differentiating factor, right? So that's 2. The third one is be able to speak the language of their pain and the results that they want. You want to know yourself so well, but you don't want to communicate it from your language. You want to communicate it in theirs, their pain, the results that they want. This is important. It's one that people often skip. The third one is to educate them on what you do and what makes you different and unique. So it's not just, knowing it, it's how are you out there educating them? Because the biggest thing that we're going to talk about here is going to come down to people come back to me saying, people don't know what I do. We need to start educating them prior to the sales conversation. Getting those things. Carolyn's been doing a great job of increasing her social media presence from educating people on the industry, on what she does, so when we can start to get things out there to educate them before we have the sales conversation, you've now established your unique selling proposition, the uniqueness that makes you you, why people need certain things. That education part is what is often missed when people come to me and say they don't know what I do. Okay. And then the 5th one is to be so crystal clear in how you market that others can communicate your value for you. Right? Because they're going to want to refer you. And they didn't need to know accurately who to refer you to and what you do. See why this is so important? Right. One more time, quickly going through. Know your value is 1. 2 is know the clients who need the value that you offer. Number 3 is be able to speak in the language of their pain. And number 4 is educate, ongoing, continue to educate and add value. And number 5 is be so crystal clear in how you market that others can communicate the value for you. Okay, any questions before we jump into our breakouts? Did I make that super clear or what, right? Yeah. Okay, I am going to turn off the recording